And this is really the true nature of the human heart. Only when we get to a place where we see the other person being the same kind of me, the same self, has the same self, that we can create true bond and truly help them. And when we're connected in the heart with another person to the same element, not to their emotion, not to the external desires, to the same element inside, the two start to like get braided together, like they. And so when we are talking about the true self and what am I supposed to do as a human being, it's very clear when I remember. It's very clear when I'm connected to this innate memory. There's always some aspect of my heart that is self-serving, even if I do something that is totally, or at least on the surface of it, looks totally selfless. And this is what we do. So when I connect with another person on that level, and I, as much as possible, try to be without inclination. So it's not me, it's not mine. I don't get any benefit from it. I don't want any. So I just want, to take maybe 1 minute for us to realize our inclination, go beyond the inclination, find this true force that we are already somewhat familiar with. Generosity, the kindness, means that I can see people for what they truly are, what their heart is really all about, and how it is in kind, how it is the same like mine. Only when we get to a place where we see the other person being the same kind of me, the same self, has the same self, that we can create true bond and truly help them. If you just imagine, if my heart is very centered, almost everything that comes its way misses it. Practically speaking, all these different situations. And this is really the true nature of the human hearts interacting with each other, is to first know where I'm supposed to be, what's the feeling inside is like, and then in a relationship. So self-doubt, the way I want us to think about today is a transition from just got to know the self, just got to know myself, but I'm stuck. And let's just reflect for a moment. What do we want to do here in the sanctuary? What's the purpose of the sanctuary? And this is very straightforward. We want to have awesome experience of life. And for the human being, the most significant new holes are in the relationship. Every time when the heart merges, the emotions, give it some flavors, attach to it, allow it to be harmonious when everything works just right. This true nature that we have inside can go different ways depending on what fleeting energy we're adding to it. And it's going to make life amazing. To the health of the body, changing bitterness to sweetness means learning about the emotions and how to make them flow properly, make them harmonious. But the real purpose is for us to feel the underlying nature of the human being. One is to realize that my life, whatever direction I pursue, has to do with goodness. The second thing is, I need to have, at least in my imagination, a clear destination when it gets more. Sometimes we have to do things we don't like to do and we get really stressed out, but that should be less and less part of our life. Like, do it less and less. Let's get stressed out less. It comes from deep within. We could say that there is something holy in every person. like this quality that generates life, propagate lives. Point out that observing emotions that are chaotic, like an ocean crashing waves, there's no way to learn anything. That's why people experience emotions all their life, but they never learn how to control them, or really what do they mean. Every morning when we wake up, there's a sense of excitement. If I know that I have a plan, today I'm going to increase the good things, I'm going to decrease the negative things, the bad things. We'll make less and less of them. But we're always going to be thinking about how to solve problems, find solutions for problems. That's always going to be part of our life, except that we will not worry about it. We know what to do, we try the best that inside the body we contain our true nature, the inner heart that has a purpose to it, and the purpose is to have this close relationship with people who are very close to me. So I constantly exercise this life. Practically, it means stop worrying. But how do you stop worrying? So, it's not like a philosophical concept. It actually means all day, from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep at night. So when we realize that inside the core, we need to transform something, we need to change something, then suddenly we'll solve all the different problems. Then every person that goes towards the inside, looking for the truth inside, this light inside, start to behave the same way, start to have much more empathy towards other people. If we develop more and more methods and practice more and more ways in order to find this inner source that we have, that is not bound in the limitations, that is not bound in the restrictions. When it comes to relationships and how we handle the relationships, oftentimes if we find ourselves in a tough spot, is because we let ourselves being boxed. I need to realize that this moment where we feel bad is an opportunity. It's actually a safe space that allows me to regenerate from inside the energy needed to solve this. But if we become more and more connected to what's deep inside, the true nature that we have deep inside, when people tell us things, it doesn't matter what they tell us. We start seeing beyond that the goodness that exists in each. To solve this trouble, I want us to think about everything and everyone here is in the right time, in the right place to serve a certain purpose. And the more we can realize it, the less. But you can see that when I calculate something and it looks plausible, so there is hope. When I have hope for something to work, all of a sudden it increases my heart intent. Deep inside its true nature, but we cannot have it isolated. We cannot have it totally not connected to ourselves, to desires, to wants and needs. We need to breathe, we need to eat. All the full application of the heart, when we talk about two hearts merging, is not really just to supplement the deficiencies and just get to level 0, like just floating over, raising your head over the water so you can breathe. Underlying principle is the same. It has to be with a root of kindness, goodness, generosity, caring, that we will build on it what my calling is. If the root of it is not goodness, not generosity, but when you think about kindness, like saying good things to people and mean it, do good things to people to help them and mean it from the heart, actually if you recalibrate your state of mind, we do through practice that we learn how to find this inner light and see that there's a different kind of truth. The more we hold on to that kind of truth, the inner type, that we will realize that anger is take it for granted. It seems like it's not important, and yet in this not important thing, if you can find the importance, the goodness that you can deliver with this action, and imagination is a tool that we're having to shine a light on a path that we want to go on. So if I'm thinking, I want my life to develop, feeling that the life is hard has to do with my heart being hard. And my heart being hard means it doesn't work properly in curing the sickness, not in initiating the sickness. We can still, the remedy here, of course, is to soften my heart. Soften my heart means that when there's some friction coming, I need to reflect on myself and try to. This intuitive design that we have in the inner heart is twofold. One is to harmonize the relationships that I have with other hearts, with other people. And the other is also, but now, what the heart inside true design is, when it comes to relationship, the closer one or the farther one, is to remedy them, is to my mind does many calculations and then realizes that my heart really wants to do that, right? The true cured mission that I have inside the heart, the real true inner design. When my mind, when we progress throughout life, this relationship is what defines us. This is what makes us who we are, who we know, who we love, who loves us, who we like, who we hate, who we're angry with. This is actually what defines things that at the moment seems to be a great accomplishment. Over time, they disappear and they don't have a long-lasting effect. But if we think about the matters of the heart, where we do things that right now, this actually all starts when a couple get together and their heart spark a new beginning. And this is not only limited to creating babies, even though it does include that as well, initiating new human beings. But the internal kind of accomplishment where we do something that is very small. It seems to be small and insignificant, but it's pure and true to the heart's internal essence, which is, emanating goodness and kindness. We grow older, I think sometimes we are missing the important lesson in this plane, in the children plane. I think sometimes as we grow older, we carry with. So the principle is always the same, but that seed of the direction, what exactly am I going to do at the end? What will be my life calling? Will be based on that true principle that we have inside the heart, and we each need to find kind of thoughts relate to the inner heart. And it also talks about time. It talks about the time that has passed, the time that I'm existing in right now, and what will happen. But these kind of thoughts don't, we're going to talk about thoughts and maybe think in a different way about thoughts. So have a different kind of a thought about what thoughts themselves are. We are thinking deep inside, the inner heart is actually similar to all humans. The inner heart that holds that light, it has virtue to it, the inner virtue that comes out with goodness, kindness,